Welcome to a quick look at Formica species, probably the favourite species of us here at Ant Antics. Formica are frightfully demanding. They have a habit of using their formic acid to spray themselves, making raising from fresh queens very difficult. But if you persevere, and if you get it right, you will have a flourishing colony that will keep you entertained with high activity and a great social skill. They can live happily with other small species of ants in the same nest as them. Here you see our acorn ants living alongside the Formica. There's no aggression, and it gives extra diversity to any natural setup you may wish to keep them in. Now this species, Formica Fusca, is a 2-year-old colony that we have raised from 3 queens. They are just coming out of hibernation, and they are just taking their first steps at an increased temperature, and they are enjoying their sugar snaps, filling up their gasters to return to the colony while everybody wakes up from a deep hibernating sleep. They're not aggressive as such. They are mainly a defensive species, protecting themselves from other parasitic colonies. However, they are slow to start. They are batch layers, laying only a few clusters of eggs every year. Don't be dissuaded by not seeing eggs in your colony from time to time. Our setup is simple, made from expanding clay balls, carbon and soil layers, each compressed down at a different firmness. We do, however, have one problem, and our advice to anyone is not to use tropical grey or fast-growing isopods as your cleanup crew. You will see here they are everywhere, and this causes a great problem with Formica not being aggressive enough to take them down. However, our setup is still beautiful. If you're not into natural setups, here is another Formica species being kept in a Saturn nest. The key component here is the sand and the substrate, which will absorb any excess formic acid they have and prevent a colony collapse whenever they get scared. Our first one is Formica Fusca, as you saw in the tank. They are an outstanding species. They are a victim species and are preyed upon by most other Formica which are parasitic. Don't let them be bullied though. We love them, and they are highly active and very pretty. Moving on, we have Formica Cunicularia. Now these, unlike Fusca, are preyed upon but are much more aggressive. They're known for living in grassland, and they're even known to relocate aphids and allow breeding programs to commence for the sweet honeydew. Here we have a European species of Formica which is larger than the others. Formica Cinerea is an absolutely stunning queen. Her workers have grey bands, and when filled up with your favourite colour of sugar snaps, they will display that colour band. As a parasitic species, they will actively clone the colony's scent of a Formica Fusca, Cunicularia or Cinerea colony, and they will take down the queen, using her workers to raise her own. Here we start them off with some Fusca workers, and you can see her first batch of eggs have formed into Sanguinea workers, ready to develop the new colony. Finally, we move on to Formica Rufa. Formica Rufa are not for the light-hearted, again as a parasitic species, but they form massive mounds, up to 2 meters high, with multiple queens, and usually fresh mated queens will return to the nest or prey upon other Formica species. Whichever species you choose, Formica are fast, they're agile, and they're incredibly thrilling to watch. Don't be dissuaded from them being native or European. They are definitely for skilled keepers, and you can enjoy them in simple natural setups like ours, with other species of temnothorax or leptothorax to keep them company. Thank you so much for watching. All of the links are in the description, and while you're there, hit that bell icon and check us to subscribe. Thank you and see you again soon.